This is the plaintiff, Tara Nicholson. She says she hired the defendant to do some odd jobs around her house, and the guy caused damages to her home in the process, and he refuses to reimburse her. This guy got in over his head, and she's here suing him for the $1,136.55 she's now owed. This is the defendant, Mark Williamson. He says he did some electrical work for the plaintiff, and he did an excellent job if he does say so himself. He deserves to be paid for his work. He didn't cause any damage to her home and owes her nothing. He's accused of making a big mess of things.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says she hired the defendant to do some electrical work in her house. He'd messed up her ceiling big time. But the defendant says he was hired to do some wiring. He did it, and he did a good job to boot, and he owes the plaintiff diddly squat. It's the case of making a real mess of things.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Ms. Nicholson, you hired the defendant to do some electrical work in your home.
Correct.
How did you find him?
I found him on the app Thumbtack, and that's like for anything that you need done. And he had a high rating, and I looked at his pictures, and the pictures were phenomenal. So I decided to hire him.
You don't mean the pictures of him, you mean the pictures of his work, right?
The pictures of his work, yes. The pictures of his work, yes.
Okay, so you hire him, and he does some recessed lighting in your house, and he's supposed to hang a chandelier, but he doesn't, right?
Correct.
Or does he? In the process, he tells you, for me to put this recessed lighting, I need to cut a hole in your ceiling, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so he makes the hole, and did he tell you that he was going to close the hole?
Yes, he did. I did not know the hole was going to be as large as it was. It stretched from one end of the room to the next in one of the bedrooms where the recessed lights were. But in the second room...
You have a video of the holes, right?
Correct. Mark Williamson did tell me that he was going to cut a small hole in my ceiling. I hired him to put the recessed lights all the way around the room. Like I said, he did say a small hole. But Judge Million, what is this? Why such a big hole and this one here? So I will show you the other room that he messed up also. This is a smaller hole. And he installed lights here, here, for this hole here. So why does this hole need to be all the way across the room?
So, Mr. Williamson, why was the hole cut so big in that first room?
Because it has to go through the studs. She doesn't have an attic. I can't lay the electrical work, the wires on the bottom of the studs. And I explained it to her. I said, your studs are running this way. If her studs had been running like this, it would have been one hole. I could have fished it through the wall and got it done. But they was running this way. So by running this way, I had to drill through every last single one of those studs per code. And I explained that.
Well, let me ask.
I told her.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I got it. Let me ask you a question. She says that you told her that you would close the holes up, that your brother did drywall, and that as part of the contract you would close the holes up. Is that accurate?
Oh, no, I told her that would be separate. I told her that I could get my brother to do the work, and I tried to get my brother to do the work. But unfortunately, my brother he was not available. He's in jail, actually, just to put it out there. He actually went to jail for something. I don't know nothing about that, but he's in jail. But I told her that would be separate, and him and her would have to come up with a price on what he charged. I made it very clear that I don't.
Did you? Because I've read the text, and I don't see where you've made it very clear that it would be separate. Now, normally it is separate. I have never had an electrician. Every electrician just looks at me and says, I don't do drywall. And then they leave you on your own to close the hole. And that's exactly what every electrician does. But you seem to have made it part of the deal, because I'm looking at your text, and at some point, you're not coming back. You're not coming back. Your brother, you say, I can't get a hold of my brother. I'm trying to get a hold of my brother. He says he'll do it Saturday. Saturday comes and goes. And then she says to you, look, can I just deduct some money? Can I get some money back so that I can close the hole myself? And you say yes, which doesn't sound like it wasn't part of the deal. And she says it was part of the deal, right? Like it was supposed to be part of the deal, according to you.
He said that his brother would charge about $50 to come and caulk the holes up. And he said that he would take care of the $50 because the hole was not supposed to be that large. It's larger. When I
it wasn't a mistake, no, but that was not a mistake he made. The hole had to be larger and larger because of the way, I think those are roof trusses, I don't know, but the way the wood is going this way. Yeah. So it's not like he did that wrong. But what you did do wrong, let's go into all these texts back and forth between you guys. You're supposed to come back and hang the chandelier. She paid you 50% of the money to hang the chandelier. Why did you never come back? What's the game plan now? This is not professional. At least keep me posted on what's going on. Can I request some of my money back to cover the cost of the work that I'm going to have done? And here's your answer. Yes. He got back to me late last night. He's available this Saturday. Why'd you say yes if it wasn't part of the deal that you would just take care of it? If it's separate and she can just go hire her own guy because it's on her, why are you setting things up and all that and then making plans to be there and then not showing up?
Because I do a professional business, but I was negotiating for someone else who didn't show up. I don't do drywall. I don't know how to do drywall.
Okay, then you're going to need to explain this text to me. Hey, are we still on for tomorrow? Yes. Okay, see you at 8. Okay. Good morning. Please let me know when you are on the way. And then at 9:30, she says, I am pissed off now. I only have one day off and you have tied up 2 of them with these shenanigans. Look, either refund me part of my money so that I can get these holes patched up and the $25 I paid you for the small chandelier installed, or do the work. This is my last time coming to you before I take legal action. Can you just send me a refund of $25 for the installation of the chandelier and something to get these repairs done? This is ridiculous. It's been 2.5 hours since you were on your way. You answer her, sure. So this is the second time you tell her that you're going to refund money because you're not getting the drywall done, which seems to imply that you were going to get it. I know that at the time, maybe when you said it, it was going to be super easy. It was going to be your brother, but I would never, as an electrician, commit to the drywall. But, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, then it's a duck. Don't roll your eyes at me when I'm talking to you. These are your texts. They're not mine. Sure. Sorry things didn't work out. So it's the second time you tell her you'll refund money. And it gets worse, actually. I have a shoulder injury. I mentioned it to you the last time we spoke, but it's okay. I've seen your review and all. I will refund you gladly. What review had you seen?
She put up a bunch of lies about my business, and then I was just trying to kill the conversation so she could leave me alone and stop putting them lies out there about my business, talking about I didn't do the work. I done what I was supposed to do. My electrical work was perfected. The drywall, no, I don't do drywall. I ain't that tough.
Yeah, we know you don't do drywall. The question is not whether you do drywall. It's whether you told her that as part of the contract, you would get the drywall done. Because you thought, well, why are you twice then in text telling her when she asks for a refund so she can get it done on her own, you don't say refund. That's your response. I'm talking. That's your response. No, I'm talking. That's your responsibility. Why is your answer not, what are you talking about? I'm not responsible for the drywall. That's your responsibility. Instead, your answer both times are, yes, I'll refund some money. Why? I only get to enforce the contract, yes, but you're going to need to address my concern. Otherwise, you won't be able to persuade me. I am here to enforce the contract you entered into, not the one you regret having entered into, okay, or the one you wish you had entered into, I should say. Look, he tells you the doorbell worked when I left, and you should not be refunded for that because when I left, all the lights were installed. I will send money for the holes to be fixed and $25 for the chandelier. Mr. Williamson, these are your texts. Why did you say that if that's not your contract? Just to shut her up?
Trying to get her to leave
no
alone.
judge in the... Right, but that's not going to get her to leave you alone. That's going to get her madder. What do you think is going to happen when you say that?
I made that mistake. But I was truly just trying to get her to leave her alone because she was writing reviews on my business page and stuff like that, and I don't have reviews like that.
But that's a very ineffective way to get her to leave you alone. It's the opposite of getting her to leave you alone. She's just going to get, you're just making her madder and madder. You're poking the bear. So let's see what happens. There's like a bunch of other failed opportunities, and then here's her text to you. This is where the gambling comes in, where she tells you double or nothing. Put it in writing that if you don't show up, that you will refund me all my money back, plus $100, and be here on time, purchase the materials, and come in with a positive attitude, and finish in a timely manner, fixing the doorbell and hanging the chandelier. That's how bad it's been. So basically, she's telling you you'll refund the $300 you charged her, plus you'll pay for all her supplies, plus you'll give her $100 if you fail to show a third, or I don't know how many times that had been by that point. If you fail to show again, and you say, okay, to the double or nothing.
But I said, okay, see you tomorrow. But did I see you? No, I did not. And did I sign anything? No, I did not.
I'm ready to rule. You're not going to refund her for the work that you did because everything was done right. You are, however, going to refund her for work that you didn't do. And unfortunately, I have to look at what that costs her now to get that hole closed after you, on 6 different occasions, said that it would be your responsibility to do that. You see? So I didn't agree to that. You did. I can see it over and over. You may regret having agreed to that because it was supposed to be super easy with your brother, but it didn't turn out to be easy. You should never agree to the drywall work, and you clearly agreed to the drywall work because over and over you say you did, and you keep telling her that you're going to get it done. You tell her that you're going to refund her for not getting it done. So yeah, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and walks like a duck, it's a duck, okay? Now, you have this double or nothing clause, which yes, he does agree to in the text. He says he's just gaslighting. He's just saying yes to whatever you say just to get you off his back, which is crazy because you just keep getting madder and madder every time he does that to you. All right. Okay. Now, that could be a negotiated, settlement between the two of you. You get one more try. I don't race to the courthouse. It could be enforceable. Something like that could be enforceable. I keep calling it a gamble, double or nothing, but it's really a new contract. Now, there's a concept in the law called unconscionability, and it's if something is a little too outrageous, a judge has the opportunity to say, wait a second. And this is just a little too outrageous, okay? You would be entitled to $275, because I saw you had a quote for the drywall for that, and that sounds reasonable, plus $25 that you paid for the chandelier he never came back to hang. That's $300. And your double or nothing is literally more than double or nothing. Your double or nothing would entitle you to $636.55. Free lights and the whole thing, that's just a bridge too far. So I'm not going to enforce that kind of, and it's not like a judge then says, okay, but I'll give you a little bit of it because you got greedy. If you get greedy when you make the deal, it's just unenforceable. So we're going to put aside the double or nothing, and we're going to look at what you're actually out. What you're actually out is the $275 plus the $25 plus, of course, your court costs. So that is my verdict. $300 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff does prevail. She's going to get $300 back, not the $1,100 she was asking for. Mr. Williamson, what do you think about what the judge just decided? You're the one who promised, What happened?
First of all, I didn't promise anything, but I'm good with it. As long as I can get this behind me, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. I'm glad you're good. We're all glad. Ms. Nicholson, how are you feeling now? You wanted a lot more money than you're getting, but hey, $300. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I feel good that I'm getting my money back. I wasn't being greedy. I did make that outlandish amount just to get him to come and do the work. So I figured if I put it out there, make something so ridiculous that he'll say, okay, I'll just come and finish the work. But I feel good.
All right. Well, congratulations. Good for you. Glad you're happy. All right, that'll bring this case to a close. Let's see what the judges have to say about it now.
How often do you have litigants like the defendant in this case who seem to think, it's just a verbal agreement, there's nothing in writing, I'm not on the hook, or it's not enforceable? I guess that comes up from time to time.
Yeah, that comes up maybe once in 100 times where people just say,
Right.
well, it's not in writing.
But yeah, oral contracts are enforceable, and people need to understand that.
Yeah.
And part of being a businessman.
They're just harder to prove. That's why you want them in writing.
Right, absolutely.
Because then both sides start saying it's something different.
Right. And then you got the he said, she says that we inevitably run into. But part of being a businessman is anticipating and being ready for these variables that jump up in your way, whether you're an electrician or a hairdresser or a hairstylist or whoever. Stuff happens. And in this case, it seemed like everything would have gone swimmingly and there wouldn't have been any problems if the defendant's brother wasn't in the joint or in the county jail or wherever he is right now.
Or had answered before he ended up in the joint.
Apparently he's a magician with drywall, and it would have gotten done like that. It would have been a lot of trouble, and everybody would have walked away happy. But yeah, one of those things, on the best laid plans of everybody sometimes just go sideways. And that looks like what happened here.
Okay, Rita wants to know this, and this is interesting, folks. Hey, Harvey, can a neighbor connect his fence to mine without permission? He was able to save a boatload of money by doing this job, and it doesn't seem fair. So I guess what you're saying is that the neighbor didn't have to put up posts or anything like that he just piggybacked on the existing fence. There is not a clear answer to this. If it is on the property line and you are putting a fence up next to an existing fence, I think the argument is that he could probably do that, because if he moves the fence into his property, he's losing space and he's allowed to have that property line fence. So I think it's a close call, but if I really had to make a decision on who wins this case, sorry to say, Rita, I think your neighbor is going to win it unless by what he did compromises your fence. We'll see you next time.